Hello, everybody. Welcome along. We are live. We are on the correct link today to talk some football once again. My apologies for those people who sat on the wrong link yesterday. I wondered, would there be enough stories for us to get through today? But there is absolutely plenty, as per usual. Hit that thumbs up button if you are in the stream, and get your comments in the live chat. And if you're watching on delay, get your comments in after the fact. A few good stories today. First of all, another new day, another new owner for Charlton. Well, it's not exactly a new owner for Charlton. It's the East Street Investments who owns the company have been taken over. So it is and it isn't, but it's not like a new person has come in and bought Charlton, but the effect may well be the same. So East Street Investments has been bought by a consortium led by businessman Paul Elliott. Not that Paul Elliott. Why is everyone so... It's red wine today, and I had tacos for dinner, and I've already eaten them, so I'll try and talk after doing that. Yeah, not that Paul Elliott that used to play for Pisa and Chelsea. And who else did Paul Elliott used to play for? So ESI bought the club from Roland de Châtelet, who all the Charlton fans hated. Remember, protested with tennis balls onto the pitch, etc. And then we had these absolute pair of clowns, Mr. Nima and Mr. Southall, who had a massive, kind of falling out in public, and it all got very unseemly. And I think the Charlton fans seemed to turn against Matt Southall, really, who was in a nice apartment and putting a car on the dime of the club, and didn't really produce a lot during the transfer window. So the statement says the club has been in touch with the EFL and will now meet with the league to begin the process of finalising the change of control, including matters relating to the owners and directors test. There we go, the lovely fit and proper persons test that lots of very not fit and very not proper people pass. But look, we joke about it. Charlton, great club. As I always say, massive battles with Ipswich, my team in the 90s. Premier League history, and any club doesn't deserve, owners to be going back and forth. So we will see. Oliver says no EFL approval. No, not yet. We haven't had it yet. BAP says change won't help. Still doomed. Bottom three in the league. And we have the Lyle Taylor story, which is still going along. So we've all followed the Lyle Taylor stuff on here. Lyle Taylor's contracted till June the 30th, and is refusing to play after June the 20th. There's a bit more meat on the bone now. Interest apparently from 12 teams for Lyle Taylor. 11 goals this season, 30 years old. Decent player, Premier League striker, I'm not so sure. Top 8 Championship striker, yeah, I would have thought so. But apparently Burnley interested, Sivasspor from the Turkish Super League, and a load of top 8 teams actually. West Brom, Brentford, Bristol City, then Glasgow Rangers, Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea both bid in January, I think, for Lyle Taylor. It's going to be an interesting one. I do have to say, Lyle Taylor, he is a good player, but he does particularly fit having Lee Bowyer as his manager, with these quick, decisive attacks and midfielders flooding the box when they do get a chance. And, I think that works for him. You would hope if you went to a West Brom and a Brentford, you'd get more chances than at a Charlton. But we'll see. The audience very, very split on whether, Taylor is doing the right thing. By law, he's certainly not, because he's breaching his contract for the last 10 days or so, but we'll see how that pans out. And he will likely end up somewhere new for mid-September, where he's going to fit. Cyber says could be a replacement for Watkins at Brentford. Possibly, yeah. He doesn't really fit the Brentford mould, does it? But it's a free transfer of a player who will score goals in the Championship. So proven in some extent. Taylor to Millwall, says Oliver. Charlton to Millwall, unlikely. I'm sure you can tell me some players who've gone between the two, but I don't know any. Too old for Brentford or West Brom, says Baps. Wouldn't mind him at Leeds for a season or two, says Michael. Some Paul Weller lyrics from Noel. No chance. He wants to step up. There we go, says James, who I believe is a Charlton fan as well. Well, we have a prophecy that was predicted here. I got asked loads and loads of times, Ben, what happens if a manager gets COVID, gets the virus? Well, we had Mikel Arteta right at the start of this, but presumably he's fine now. But with sort of 10 days to go until the Championship starts, Michael O'Neill of Stoke City has got COVID virus. Stoke can confirm that manager Michael O'Neill has tested positive following the latest round of testing. O'Neill had tested negative in the previous 5 rounds of testing. So that would be fairly easy contact tracing. You would presume that he hasn't been in touch with that many people in between round 4 and round 5. So, yeah, interesting to see how this one plays out. He will now follow the relevant guidance and undergo a period of isolation whilst continuing to be in regular virtual contact with his staff and players. That would intimate either he's very hardcore about his work or he's not too unwell. I'm sure he's going to be Zooming them and Skyping them, etc., etc. So assistant manager Billy McKinley will take charge of training as the Potters prepare for the game against Reading. The club will make no further comment. They were due to play Man United in a friendly at the Man United training ground, which I've forgotten. Carrington, at the Carrington training ground. So it'll be very, very interesting to see if he's back by the 20th. He should be by the 7 days of isolation, and hopefully all will be well. And I don't want to sound insensitive, but you assume that these people working in football are all fit and healthy. But hey, the virus has been able to get anybody, different ages. So we hope Michael O'Neill's okay, first and foremost, and we will see how Stoke are affected. Remember, they're not quite out of the woods, but a much better points per game under Michael O'Neill than under Nathan Jones at Stoke from the start of the season. Quick Premier League line that the Leeds fans might be interested to hear is that Goodison Park has been cleared to host the Merseyside derby. So we were wondering about behind closed doors and this whole issue of will it be safe and will fans congregate outside? Will there be public order problems? Well, they have deemed that Goodison Park, which is rather old-fashioned and pretty much next door to Liverpool's ground, will be absolutely safe. The Safety Advisory Group at Liverpool City Council met on Wednesday and has approved a safety certificate for Goodison. I suppose it helps that Liverpool don't have to travel, as in, bringing in lots of coaches and things of that nature. In the initial round of Premier League fixtures published last Friday, the venue was marked as TBC, but this is good news for the non-neutral ground people amongst us here, of which there are quite a few actually, isn't there? Marked as TBC. All matches in the top flight's restart so far confirmed will be played at the home venue. So maybe this is something that might get blown away. Maybe if we get through Everton and Liverpool, maybe the safety people at Leeds and at Newcastle and at Sheffield, wherever the proposed neutral venue grounds, maybe they can go and say, oh, look, well, Liverpool and Everton did it fine, so all will be okay. Liverpool, 25 points ahead, could seal the title at Goodison Park if Manchester City are beaten by Arsenal on June 17th. Nick says, I think fans will turn up, some just don't care. And I'm not going to repeat what Lee just put about Leeds fans there, who are equally passionate, aren't they? So, guys, we did a lot on League One yesterday. We've got some reactions today in the aftermath. Generally, the feeling, I think, from the chat and from, speaking from my own point of view, were that we knew it was coming, that League Two and League One were going to cancel and Championship was going to continue. We kind of know why, don't we? It's a money thing. It's not ideal, the EFL splintering in this way, and maybe it does exacerbate the need for a Premier League 2, although the EFL are going to want to keep 3 divisions and not give some big clubs away to the Premier League organisation. But we do all understand that it has kind of, screwed some people over, let's just say. So Rick Parry has spoken on this. Some interesting comments from him. I quite like, excuse me, you did say tacos and red wine before the stream. I can't even talk. There we go. That should sort me out. Right. Parry says, I was just going to say about Parry that he is quite direct. So, we'll take what he says at face value. Just by the way, hit that thumbs up button if you're in the chat and I'll go on. Rick Parry says, the votes have no bearing at all on where I said we were because we still have a massive shortfall. He's talking about money now. And this is now the second that vote was done to curtail Leagues 2 and 1, now starts the problem of getting next season started. And this argument that I see in the chat all the time, which I've got no comeback for, of if teams can't play 9 games behind closed doors, how can they play 46? I don't know. I really don't know the answer. Whether that means some reform, whether that means a bailout, some solidarity from somewhere, Premier League, government, is it their duty to do it? I don't know. But that's a question I cannot debunk. Rick Parry says, my estimate was based essentially on the loss of matchday income, which still remains the case. There is still no prospect of games taking place in front of crowds in the near future. Remember, he said a £200 million shortfall for the EFL. Having spent many hours over the last few days and weeks getting clarity on this season, now we can turn our attention to the challenges of next season. But those challenges have not diminished in any way, shape or form. This is a major problem facing us. Yes. Agree 100% with Rick Parry. The question fans are going to have back to him is what you're going to do about it, Rick. And it's kind of binary, this, isn't it? Either this is the moment where the EFL really grows a pair and sorts out the massive cliff edges, or this is the moment where the Premier League really deals a blow to the EFL and pushes for this Premier League 2. And if you are Notts Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn, Bristol City, Swansea, whoever, big clubs, top half championship clubs, where do you want to go? Do you want to stay in the EFL or do you want to go to the Premier League 2? Seems a difficult one to, kind of go against, doesn't it? But we will see what happens. The aim is to make sure all the clubs survive, and we're working 24 hours a day to make sure they do. We cannot give guarantees. Who knows whether we've seen the end of this crisis or whether there's going to be a second spike, which would, we think it's bad with just the one spike that we've had in terms of the football. Obviously, a second spike would be terrible for public health and for the economy and businesses and, just people's general insolvency. But for football, it would be, I just think a few clubs would just go, okay, hands up, we're mothballing, everyone's made redundant. Let's go and find some 16-year-olds to play for 50 quid a week or what have you. And we'll just try and stay open. So yes, going to be very, very tricky. Our avowed aim, and I'll be giving it our best shot, is to make sure the EFL comes through this stronger than we are at the moment. By that, I think Rick Parry means with a stronger distribution of wealth from further up the chain and less of these ridiculous cliff edges. I'm sure I speak for most people when I say I think I'd almost prefer there to be less money in the Championship, but less cliff edges generally. It's not about more money. It's about the disparity in money in between, from Premier League to Championship, Championship to League One. League One to League Two from the bottom 6 doesn't look too bad, but the disparity in League One is, even in between the league, is awful. And then Championship to League One and, the next stage up, just huge cliff edges every way you go, and clubs treading a very, very, very fine line. Dan says, to be fair, why can't the split end about the EFL merge with the EPL? If it means you get, yeah. I mean, look, if anything that gets you a fairer system, but yeah, if it was, some deal was done, that would work. But there's self-interest, isn't there? And the EFL are going to want to do the best for the EFL, and the Premier League want to, not kill the goose that laid the golden egg. David says, bung the whole thing online next season and plaster the crowns in sponsorship. We need some fans back, my God. But hey, Glenn says, hi Ben, interesting too. Rotherham promotion after relegation last season. Barnsley promoted last season. This could be changing places. Yeah, so we've had a couple of yo-yoers. Barnsley down, up. Rotherham down, up. Does prove if you have your strategy sorted in a 2 to 3 year plan that you can bounce back if you have any kind of stability. Obviously, we've heard from Mark Palios because we've heard from Mark Palios quite a lot of sympathy for Tranmere yesterday. They've been the kind of whipping boys in all this. Everyone's felt sorry for Tranmere. Obviously, the situation is that they were third bottom. They had a game in hand. They were 3 points behind. They've been on a good run of form. They'd invested in January, and they had a history of points per game increasing as the season went on. Have they been screwed? Probably, yes. Could the EFL come up with a fairer solution? Probably not to the most people. So Tranmere, as Joe said on the Blue Monday podcast, were left holding the relegation present when the music stopped. So here's what Mark Palios has to say. I'm disappointed, if not surprised. The unreturned calls and messages from owners indicated where the votes would go. That sounds a bit lonely, doesn't it? I accept that a global pandemic is a desperate situation. I accept that difficult choices had to be made. Don't believe this particular outcome was the fairest solution, etc., etc. Talks about sympathy, and he says sympathy doesn't pay wages or assuage a deep sense of unfairness. Assuage, excuse me, I can't pronounce that word, too complicated. I tend to be of the mind that sympathy doesn't actually solve many complex problems at all, does it? And whilst we're all sympathetic to Tranmere, anyone in Wycombe's position or Rotherham's position surely would vote to stop, wouldn't they? Immediate playoffs and immediate promotion. If that relegates Tranmere, your duty of care is to Rotherham or to Coventry. Very, very, very tricky one. Palios concludes, for Tranmere fans, this will leave a burning sense of injustice. We need to bottle that and use it to spur us on to reclaim our rightful place in League One. Finally, we should reflect on the situation and decide on the best course of action. I guess he's talking legal there. I said yesterday, there are people that sue and there are people that threaten to sue. There are clubs that spend their money on players and wages and clubs that spend their money on lawsuits. We'll find out which Tranmere are going to be. Are they going to threaten to sue? Are they going to sue? Or are they going to put their money into getting back up from League Two? And they can be another bouncy yo-yo team, up. Dear me, up through the playoffs last season and relegated, maybe some would say, unfairly. But we'll keep an eye on what Tranmere do in the meantime. Right, that is all the news stories I had for today. So if anyone has got questions, we'll go to a general chat here. Hit the thumbs up button if you're in the chat. Like the video if you are on watching on delay, and you can donate to the channel by sending me a super chat or a donation down by hitting that dollar button there. Right, let's do some questions. Could League Two be expanded next season? Asked Lee. Certainly could be regionalised, couldn't it? In many ways, they kind of need to make it bigger by making it smaller. So maybe 2 localised 20 teams is less red tape if you're struggling to play games. We will see. I think people are a bit wary, of a Premier League 2, a Championship, a League One, and then North and South divisions. I think, does that just move the cliff edge further? I don't know. James says, did I see the story? Brighton offering fans a chance to attend the Amex as cardboard cutouts for 20 quid. If they do that, someone let me know and I'll get a cardboard cutout for the channel to go up there. That will be amusing. There we go. Have you seen Leeds Crowdies? No, I haven't, XE. No, I assume that's the same thing. Noel says, Philip says, did I hear what Lee O'Neill said yesterday? I did not know. Smart me up. Local media reporting Warnock favourite for the Blues job. Bring back the Warnock so we can see him stare at refs and do that. Michael says, who do you think will go up and down from the Championship and then down from the Prem? So hard to say. Leeds and West Brom nailed on. I've gone with Forest in the playoffs, so I'll stick with that. Premier League, who knows? Who absolutely knows? For the channel, Be nice to see Villa and West Ham again, wasn't it? TV money has always been an issue. Yeah, 3 million for Leeds, 100 million for Norwich. There you go. That's the cliff edge I am talking about. Dan says, you mean the plan for 20-team league system they killed a few years back? Possibly, yeah. I'm sure we've heard every plan suggested, but we will see what comes of that. St. John Calthrop Smythe says, I think as a Vale supporter there, Cobblers are looking good. Colchester and Northampton, they're all doing it. Remember those playoffs? My God, playoffs happening next Thursday. Zeno's crowd here, essentially cardboard cutouts. Yeah, I'm going to get myself some cardboard cutouts. Do you have to pay more to be on the hard camera side so you get to see them? Yeah, we'll see. Martin says teams that play possession football may have the advantage remaining games. Nathan Jones to keep looting up. Yeah, possession more an issue now. Ball in play, a bit more pace, a little bit slower. We will see. I keep saying we will see. Got to stop saying that. Forshaw says promotion is a formality. Is Forshaw back fit for Leeds? Kean says I think Chris Hughton for new Birmingham manager. Yeah, that's going to run with Hughton, isn't it? Then Nikas, who I think will be the next manager of Birmingham. God knows. So many. We said Karanka, didn't we? McCarthy, Bruce if he leaves. Newcastle. Lots and lots of familiar names. Noel says check out Barry Fry this morning on TalkSport. I will give it a look. Barry's always good fun, isn't he? Lee says hit the thumbs up button. Posh says can I join the live? Afraid not, but you can comment in the comments like you have done there. Ivan Toney stuck in League One. Wonder if Peterborough they're sold in January. Yeah, there were bids for Toney in January, but they always get good money, Peterborough, don't they? We'd love to see Warnock back next season. So funny, isn't he? Love him. Oliver, we will make the playoffs. That's Millwall. Prim. I'm going to fill Brighton's ground with trans pride flags and have JK rolling in the away end. There we go. Brighton always flying the flag for our LGBTQ asterisk friends down on the south coast. They're wonderful place, Brighton. Actually, it's in Lewis, isn't it? Brighton's ground. In fact, my Mrs. cousin lived not far from that ground at all, but he's moved. Chris Hughton isn't interested in Brighton, says no. Ed says Premier League will push for second tier because they can make more money. Yeah. There is a time now where they can try and take advantage. Let's see what they do. I just hope if they do want to go for that second tier, the EFL have got to play hardball on the solidarity. Got to play hardball, surely, and get those cliff edges knocked down a little bit. Who's the best manager in the Championship, says Michael? Well, that's for sure most people would say it would be Mr. Marcelo Bielsa, wouldn't they? But he needs to get them up to cement that reputation he has got. Moving on, Mike says, important for teams to win their first 3 or 4 games in case it all gets stopped and goes to points per game. That is a very good point. If we are at risk of it stopping again and you're on 1 point with 10 minutes to go, you may as well go for the win because, those points per game really do stack up. If you just win the first 2, you could lose the rest. And you'd still be fine on points per game, wouldn't you? If you had a tenner, who would you put it on for 6th in the Championship? So we're looking at all those clubs stacked up. Tricky. Bristol City? Bristol City do strange stuff, don't they? Alex says Falmer, not Lewis. Yeah, you're right. Lewis is just up the road, though, isn't it? Kid dropped dinner on the floor. Wept. Oh, sorry, Elliot. Go and tidy that up. I apologise if you're watching the stream. Steve Bruce will probably be available again in the Championship. Yeah, Bruce, he'll be back. Won't he? Wolf says, mind you, Holloway was trying to sell me iFollow, was he? Yes, he does appear on your Facebook feed every now and then. Nick says, do any countries have Premier League 1 and 2? Yeah, we have Bundesliga 1 and 2, Serie A and B. We're one of the few that has a standalone top division. And yeah, it's been great for the Premier League, but it's causing a lot of problems now for the people who are not in the Premier League. Unfortunately, the Premier League are only very good at thinking about the people who are in the Premier League and not the people who are outside it, which is fair enough, but there we go. Jaggy says, when are the awards announced? Yes, go and vote for this channel on the Football Content Awards. Best in Video, Creator, hit Benjamin Bloom. Do I know when the League One and League Two playoffs are being played? We know when the League Two are because it's next Thursday and the following Monday, and the final's on the 29th. Not sure if League One's been announced yet. Don't think it has. I would have thought it would have been the Friday, then the Wednesday, and the following day. Chris says to, I think it was Elliot, or was it Ewan, who dropped the dinner, starved the kids till the stream has ended. There you go. Mike says, what's happening with the Newcastle takeover? It's gone quiet, hasn't it? I think they were very, very close, but they've been close for 3-4 weeks now. So Newcastle fans will hope that is going through. Dan says K and VB have the first third tiers of the Dutch game. Interesting. Lee says, I voted for you, Ben. Thank you very much, Lee. Cool. Let's wrap up around now. If you can hit the thumbs up button, that would be great. So some good stories today. Charlton ownership, more League One fallout, etc., etc. More Lyle Taylor stuff, and looking hopeful for the non-neutral grounds with the Liverpool-Everton news. Lee says, do I think the EFL will sort out FFP issues before the season ends? They have to, don't they? Surely they have to. Can't delay it for next season. Right. Thank you ever so much for watching. If there is 3-4 decent stories, I will be on again tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. Hit that like button right now if you're in the chat. Let's see that go up a few more. If you're watching on delay, get comments, and I do try and read all of them, even if I cannot reply to all of them. You can donate to the channel by hitting the little dollary button there. You can support me monetarily on Patreon, etc. Follow on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Go and vote at the Football Content Awards. I apologise again for the rogue stream and people sat there for 30 minutes while I was on a stream the other way. Lee said, who gave a thumbs down? Don't worry about the thumbs down, Lee. Someone told me if you don't get any thumbs down, you're not doing it right because no one cares. Don't all hit thumbs down now. That would annoy me. But yeah, there we go. Nick says Reeve and Bloom. Yeah, I'll speak to Jack and we'll get something maybe in for Friday. And I will see you all very, very soon. Oh, Colm says Augustine injured again. Yes, talk of that in the chat earlier. I heard he was in full beast mode and ready to go. Not anymore. There we go. Right. I'm going to listen. I'm going to end the stream now. I'm going to thank you all. And I'll see you very, very soon. Enjoy my wine. I will do exactly just that. And if there's more news, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll get it all advertised. Thank you as ever for everyone's support and for tuning in. And I'll see you all again soon. Hit that like button. See you soon. Bye-bye.